Okay, that went pretty smooth. All right, is everybody still bopping to that last French song? All right, boom, 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 boom. All right, that was for Claude. Anyway, okay, Gary's excited tonight, and I'm feeling a little better. You always say yes to drugs. No, no, really. I'm gonna try and not hack in your ear, and everybody's going ooh, 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 ooh. So most of the tape last night was me hacking and things turning off and everybody getting frustrated. So we felt like, okay, let's not even try to piece that together. So anyways, it's all right. It will be back on Saturday and we'll be able to go over it all again. I've got some things that I need to talk about first before I bring Gary on. Won't take up too much of your time, Gary. Basically going to be talking about a few things in the room. Okay, you know what? Not enough people come to these webinars, these asset protection webinars, to understand that a Nevada C corporation gives you the right of privacy. Okay, a layer of privacy. So if everybody talks about it in relationship to a person, how much privacy does that person have? About zero. If you go into a bank and they're asking for beneficiary, okay, what happens is that you need to put only the information that we gave you, and that should be enough for them. Now, if they're giving you problems and they won't go through it, you don't go and name people and put addresses and that. You say, thanks very much, and then you contact us, and then we will tell you what to do after that. Just try and protect this whole thing, this whole program. Okay, this whole program was for the passive peeps, for everybody to not have to worry whether they're going to get hacked, whether they're going to get paid, whether it's a paper game, whatever. Okay, we've all worked really hard on this to make this happen for all the peeps. So please, you know, as we try to protect you, please protect us. Okay, and protect our privacy. Now, I'm already going to go to screen share because there is one other thing that I want to show. And so just give me a second here. And I'm going to stretch her out this time instead of let Java take over. So just give me 1 second here. Black screen. Okay, we're back. Okay, and just a minute here. Gary, you can tell me whether this was what you wanted to have up here while you did your presentation. Okay, because this is your link that you gave me and I figured this is what you wanted. Is that correct? You can just write that in there and give me a yes or no. Hello, Gary. Hello? Yes. Okay. So anyway, I want to go back though to one thing. Okay, and here it comes. Okay. Does everybody see that? Okay, that's what I see. Okay. Now, can you tell me who sent that? Okay. I can't. Okay. Now, the email that it came in, it doesn't have anything on it. How am I supposed to know who sent this so I can counter it to the forms? And I must have a good 20 of these. So how am I supposed to decipher, you know, okay, well, who sent me what? So if any, it's just falling into one account. So the other ones are named, and that this one is, these are not named. So I guess there'll be further conversations with certain people after I do the first bunch and I get them out of the way. Then I've got to go through and kind of contact people, or people contact me, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, I'll be talking more about this not in this webinar, but it will be by Saturday, and I'll probably be contacting a lot of people always also. So in the subject line, maybe you can include your name, okay, and if you got your name in the subject line, then there's no need to bother to put anything else on here. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and I think for everyone, point taken. Okay, so let me just extend that up like that, and we want to make sure that Gary's all happy. Okay, there we go. Now, we're not going to do any other updates. Gary's probably got a lot. Now we're doing, we're going to do stuff with endowments. Gary will, give you the right terms. I'm still having these sometimers moments here with my head not 100% clear. Should have seen me in the dentist chair this morning. That was really funny. Trying to breathe and not hack and everything. That was the last appointment, so after 3 months of dental work, I have a pearly white smile. I'm doing Brighten Teeth commercials. I'm starring in Hollywood movies. Just joking. Anyway, I feel better. I'm glad that it all got done. And it's deductible in my Bridgeway Nevada C Corp. Thank you very much. Okay, so let me get back here so I can get Gary on. Okay, and we're going to hope that we can go back and forth here later on, but at least I can get Gary on here. Before I just go on here, let's say hello to big 26 people. We got Avi, Adiro, Annalise, Anthony, Bob, Carl, Claude. We got Don, Donna, Gary, Jeremiah, John, Kathy, Mario, Ming, Mike, Paul, Rishi, Sandy, Sharon, Shri, Susie, Q, Teddy, when she's 60, and that's about it. But that's great. Okay, so thank you all for being here. And let's get started. Now, everybody, it's so important that everybody attend these from now on. These have a direct relationship to our program. Okay, and down the road, when all of a sudden that you realize that you need to do something and it can't be done instantly, I'll never say to you, I told you so. I'm not that kind, but that's why I'm trying to encourage everybody. At least get your knowledge first. And, okay, so without further ado, let me just close me off.
I believe I have the microphone. Good evening. We'll try it this way. So, the topic is Endowment Foundation. The screen sharing shows the website for Bridgeway Financial Corporation and their page on endowment foundations and charities. We will have that link in the recording when it's distributed. So I won't read the page, plus you can only see the beginning of it anyway, but I will read my prepared notes. So here we go. The Endowment Foundation is tonight's topic. Recently we've spoken to you about Asset Protection 101 on September 8th, which was Nevada Corporation. On September 13th, we talked about offshore corporations, the IBC, which I call Asset Protection 102. And on September 20th, we talked about banking, U.S. banking and offshore banking. So all those recordings are there. I really like the last three, particularly Nevada Corps on the 8th and Offshore Corps on the 13th. So we'll give you the link to this page in the recording. Now, I will go back and review the correct way to set up nonprofits and foundations for asset protection, but first of all, I'm going to talk about what they are. In the United States, and I'll get a ruling for offshore people as well, 30% of your bottom line taxable income can be donated to the creation of and funding of an endowment foundation. It is a 501c3 tax-free entity. It's all regulated by the IRS. The money going into an endowment foundation is tax-free. It is a 100% deduction for the contribution to an endowment foundation and for the expense of creation of an endowment foundation. That's 100% tax-free. This is revolutionary, folks. It is a 501c3 tax-free entity that is paid for by donation that are all blessed by the IRS. An endowment foundation is a legal structure with which you can create generational wealth. An endowment foundation is really a tax-free investment tool. It doesn't get any better than this, folks. It's a tax-free investment tool. And an endowment foundation has two jobs. Number one, to invest in any legal, non-self-dealing investment. Similar rules to 401ks and IRAs. You can't invest in your own house. But again, you can invest in any legal, non-self-dealing investment in the world. And number two, an endowment foundation must give away 5% per year to legal 501c3 nonprofit entities. 5% a year to churches, charities, and other endowment foundations. So a foundation is a tax-free investment tool and has to give away 5% a year. A foundation can also build wealth, and it can multiply your funds tax-free. It does this perpetually because properly maintained, a foundation is designed to outlive you. There are a lot of foundations in the U.S. that are over 100 years old at this point that do good work. So, a foundation multiplies your funds tax-free. It therefore creates generational wealth. The investments always grow and multiply. You maintain your principal while you give away a minimum 5%, or maybe 10% if you wish, to other nonprofit corporations. The foundation, point 5, is owned by no one. Very interesting concept. It is created as a legal entity. Our foundations are formed in Nevada, and they are controlled by a board of directors who are paid, and you may be on that board of directors, and other carefully selected people you choose. So you create an endowment foundation, no one owns it, it's going to live forever, and it's controlled by a board of directors, and you're on the board of directors, you choose the directors. A foundation has to be kept in compliance. It must be kept legal, renewed annually, it has to be compliant with the IRS, and therefore we have someone to babysit the foundation to keep it compliant, and that person is our asset protection CPA, Joe Kraft. I would never think of doing a nonprofit corp or a foundation without our CPA taking care of it. Because if it's not properly taken care of, the IRS will confiscate everything and you'll lose it. So CPA knows the rules. He's an expert in nonprofits and foundations. In fact, our CPA has a nonprofit foundation for the care and rescue of dogs on the East Coast of the U.S. That's quite a large operation. So he knows by experience of many years of operating nonprofits and foundations. Now, a foundation can own things. In fact, an endowment foundation can own any legal asset. Give you an example. Therefore, a foundation can own stock in corporations, or bonds, and many other things. In fact, The guy in Kansas that everybody talks about as one of the top couple of richest people in the world has donated stock in his investment corp to the foundations of his children, because each child has a foundation and they are adults. And the stock is donated because it's extremely valuable, and it's being donated to their foundations. Foundation can own real estate, it can own gold and precious metals, and funds of any type. The foundation can own intellectual property. Now, I'm in technology land out here in Seattle. A lot of people here have intellectual property, software, patents, copyrights, and various other similar assets to be protected. So, endowment foundations are great things. Now here is a very interesting point 8. Our endowment foundation can own a profit C corporation. Now some of you have acquired Nevada profit C corporations, and if you're outside the U.S., all the corporations provided to you are C corporations. And an endowment foundation can own the stock of that corp in any percent or 100%. Very interesting that a nonprofit entity owned by no one can own a profit C corporation. Point number 9. An endowment foundation can own an offshore corp, which we call an IBC. Now, I spoke to you about that a few weeks ago. They're very powerful, confidential, legal entities, and they are formed outside of the USA, in the Caribbean, and other locations, for total privacy. Our foundation can own an offshore corporation, which might have high-yield brokerage or investment funds or bank accounts, and can own funds and have accounts in currencies outside of the US dollar. When we talked about IBCs the other week, we talked about the Swiss franc, Great British pound, Canadian dollar, and the euro, and maybe some other currencies. Corporation in the U.S. has to have funds in a bank in U.S. dollar. Corporation offshore can be in another currency. Now, point number 10. This is something that's very close to my heart and my planning. A foundation can create research institutes, education, private, tax-free research and development facilities in technologies or other subjects to create a better world. Okay, folks, you're going to make some money in your passive investments. You're going to save money because you have an asset protection program and you're paying the lowest legal tax. You have advanced planning strategies and you're creating wealth. Now we create a foundation where we take 30% of your bottom line taxable income, and you're having a good year. You made $200,000 this year. And 30% of your bottom line taxable income donates to a foundation. Gives you a big write-off and put some money in it for tax-free investing. Now we're going to go create some projects to fund, because we have to donate 5% and maybe 10% to other nonprofit corporations. Here's where the chart down this page, when you see the link, comes in on how Bridgeway Financial sets up nonprofits and foundations for asset protection. So we contribute, there you go, thank you, David. We contribute cash and other assets to your endowment foundation. This holds the majority of your investment funds. The Endowment Foundation pays wages to you as a director, so it's paying director's fees. That's out the bottom of the square box on the left. And the Endowment Foundation invests and makes money. It gives away 5% minimum to a operating foundation, a nonprofit Nevada corporation, which is a 501c3. This nonprofit corporation can also pay director's fees to you and your closely held group. The concept here is you've got major money invested in your endowment foundation, and the CPA keeps it legal and compliant. It gives away 5% a year, and it only puts enough money in the operating foundation, 501c3 nonprofit, in the circle on the right to get a project done. So if we've got a $100,000 project and $1 million in our foundation, we only move money as required to fund that $100,000 project in the nonprofit corporation. But we keep all the large money in the endowment foundation safe. So we've set up asset protection inside of two legal nonprofit structures. The major money is invested in the endowment foundation, and it stays there, and it continues to invest. We fund churches and charities, and you can have your own 501c3 nonprofit corporation doing your own projects. We only put as much money into it as we need to fund the project, so that if anything goes wrong or if the IRS challenges something, they're only doing that with the operating nonprofit company, corporation, and not with a major investment foundation. I can review this with you personally, but it's shown here because it is a unique plan to set up a foundation with an operating nonprofit. And we do them together at the same time. So that's the summary of the asset protection aspect of setting up a foundation and an operating foundation nonprofit corporation. So we go back to my summary of things a foundation can do, and a foundation can support humanitarian ventures. It can create humanitarian platforms internationally. So here's where your large vision comes in, folks. Once you've made your money and you've moved some of it into a foundation, you're creating generational wealth. You can create and support humanitarian ventures in churches, charities, and nonprofits. You can create your own projects. Here's where you want to have a vision that's large enough and a passion to support the vision to create your own meaningful humanitarian nonprofit projects and have them funded by your own endowment foundation. Create a vision large enough and carry it forward for your family and your church and your close associates perpetually. Now, an endowment foundation is an investment tool. It's tax-free, and it's the best thing going. And my quick summary is the following: that you can get all the data on this website page from Bridgeway, which is copyrighted, and which is why we're giving it to you complete, so that you can understand how gifts and charities work and how you can direct that in a beneficial way, any way you wish, as long as the CPA is keeping it compliant. You have a 501c3 in the foundation. You have a 501c3 in an operating nonprofit company, corporation. You learn how to use it. You learn how to be a board of directors. You learn how to operate your projects. and the CPA keeps it legal. Now, in summary, endowment foundations are no longer for the wealthy alone. Those in the Seattle Northwest know that there is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which has a large piece of property downtown near the Seattle Center with expensive modern buildings. They're an example of a large public foundation. Our endowment foundations are private, and if they get large enough later on, you can make it a public foundation. It is a normal part of estate planning, which we do complete estate planning in Bridgeway Financial as well. But I'm excited about foundations. I'm really excited about foundations because all of our investments are tax-free, and that's as good as it gets. Our endowment foundation actually is reasonably priced. It's around $12,500 US, which is about half or less of what a major law firm would charge for a foundation. In our area, a foundation costs about $20,000 to $50,000 by law firms. We have hundreds and hundreds of clients. I have hundreds and hundreds of clients who are investors of all types, and many expect to receive major funding, which will require them all to have a foundation moving forward. That's why Bridgeway Financial has lowered the price to a point where I've never seen it before, because ours used to be at least $20,000. So for $12,500, you can have your own endowment foundation, and I have 5 at least planned personally. It's a part of a balanced asset protection plan when you're creating wealth that you're going to hang on to long term. Our foundation is the legal tool to build generational wealth. So, in summary, I'm encouraging you to lift up your vision and create an ongoing contribution to your family, to your community, to your church, and to humanity. You can have as many endowment foundations as required for different purposes. All foundations can own institutes, they can conduct research, and they can own corporations. And as I scan up my page here, you can travel the world and make contributions to charities, education, and other foundations. You can do it safely, you can do it with your assets protected, and you can train your kids for generations to make a contribution to the world and support humanitarian ventures. But in summary, a foundation is a practical investment tool which the wealthy have understood for many years and are now available to us ordinary passive peeps, investor types. So I'm excited. I have a foundation of my own that I have designed that I can discuss with you privately. For now, I will keep confidential. And I have understood for the last 3 years the power of foundations in an investment paradigm moving forward. So, endowment foundations are for you as part of your asset protection planning when you've made some money that you want to donate. A lot of my people are currency speculators, in particular international currencies, and they expect to need some tax write-offs. In the example of a dinar investor in the Iraq dinar currency, should that become very valuable soon, you can donate 100% of a large portion of your appreciated asset after it becomes more valuable, and take it as 100% write-off to reduce your tax and fund your foundation at the same time. So for now, I think I will wrap that portion up. The notes I'm reading from are private that I have not published, and I can discuss with David Lockwood if he wishes me to publish my notes. And I am excited about endowment foundations. There's something that you didn't know about before that most people think are only for the wealthy, and they are tax-free, multi-generational wealth-building tools, and you can have one when it's time. I'm open to questions. Go ahead, David, take it over.
Okay, everybody, I'm just going to stop screen share here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, and that way we're probably going to save ourselves a headache down the road. Okay, and just let me bring, what was I bringing up here? I think it was this one. Just give me a sec. There, we got a background. Okay, so Gary, to answer your question about publishing, you can never win a Nobel Prize if you don't publish. Silence. Clap, everybody. This is wonderful stuff, and I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that's here on the webinar tonight that hasn't had some good idea for a foundation, whether it's to help children, needy children, sick children, to help those that are handicapped, to help those who just have bad luck. Up here in Canada, this coming weekend is our Thanksgiving weekend. Now, this is where a lot of food banks really, this is their busiest time. They try to provide a turkey with all the trimmings and everything for a lot of families that can't afford a turkey. This is just a small example. And, you know, I went out and I bought, you know, a butterball stuffed. Chris gave me the word, don't you come back, excuse me, with a turkey that I got to do stuffing and all the rest of that. So, okay, so I got the word. I had to go and find one. Just managed to find this butcher that had one stored away in his freezer because they go very quickly. And anyway, so these are things that people can't afford a lot. If you're paying anywhere from $30 to $50 for a turkey, and you're really short in money, well, that's a big expense. But a lot of food banks around here and organizations, they really try to provide at Christmas time, Thanksgiving, at different occasions, you know, a nice basket of food for people, and that can be under a foundation if that's something that you're passionate about. So Gary makes great sense there. Okay, now I just want to comment. What he's saying here might not sink in right now, but I'm telling you right now that if you're involved in the Passive Peeps private program, you realize when you have done the calculations that you're going to be coming into some pretty nice money. It's up to you if you want to give 38% plus to the government of where you're living, or you can reduce that and you can use the difference to help other people. So keeping that in mind, you need to be informed if you're going to do it right, and that's why we are blessed to have Gary at your fingertips anytime to discuss these things, and I really hope that a lot of you do that you take him up. It's Gary's favorite line is, well, that's another call. But that is, it's another call to him. So everybody must make their own call. A lot of the stuff you won't hear on here. I don't care if there's 50, 60, 80 people on here. You are not going to, you're just not going to hear it here because a lot of it is confidential. Okay, so that being said, I think that Gary is ready for questions now. So I'm going to hand it back to Gary and then just put them in the bottom. Just don't go too fast. Okay, and I'm sure we can get all the questions to Gary. So if somebody starts typing now, then it won't be long before he'll have some questions to answer. Okay, let me just close my mic.
All right. Can you hear me now? Question from Bob about the dinar. I've been into the dinar for a couple of years. I have stacks of them held by corporations. I'm an expert on the subject, but you got to talk to me privately because the experts on the subject still don't know what the heck's going on. It will revalue, and possibly very soon, and become extremely valuable. That's my answer. I can give you links to dinar websites and where to buy them, or dinarguru.com and others on where to read about what's going on every day. Currency speculation in the dinar or the Vietnamese dong or other currencies is a specialty area, and it's something I've been keeping track of. Okay. Any questions on endowment foundations? See, they weren't something that you were thinking about, but if you're planning on getting $1 million or more, you should be thinking about them because we can reduce your taxes. Our endowment foundations, to begin with, live, someone asked, what about Australia? They live in the USA and Nevada, and you can use it anywhere in the world. Oh, here we go. Somebody else. I'm Swiss Claude, yes. And I'd like to know if all your plans is possible with one account in the Swiss banks. Ask me privately. It's an advanced question, and the answer is probably not. But you got to tell me which something privately, Claude. I'm not going to answer you anymore in public about Swiss banks. Oh, here we go. New Zealand. Do we do foundations here? No, you do it in Nevada. And the foundation is usable anywhere in the world. And if you need a New Zealand foundation, you can go get one, but you start with one in Nevada and learn how to drive it. We still start with all the other corporations first, I gather. Yeah, the endowment foundation is an extremely advanced concept, but I want you to understand that it's there for you now. You always start with a corporation, either Nevada to reduce your tax and have 300 categories of business expenses, or with an offshore corporation, depending on where you are in the world and what your personal situation is. Gee, we're only getting international questions here. So you're saying if we live overseas, we can still open a U.S. endowment foundation? Absolutely. You can have a U.S. Nevada corporation. You can have an offshore corporation. You can have a U.S. endowment foundation. So U.S. laws apply to us here in Australia? No. They apply to a foundation or a Nevada corporation that is created in the state of Nevada in the USA. These things legally live either in the U.S. or in the Caribbean, depending on which entity is being formed. If you form a Nevada corporation or a Nevada endowment foundation, the laws of the USA only apply to that foundation or corporation. Question. USA laws apply to us in Australia? Only if you have a U.S. corporation. Question. Is one type of endowment better to create than others? There is only one type of endowment foundation. Period. They're all private, and they get large enough they could be made a public foundation. When I started in 2006, at that time you could donate 50% of your bottom line taxable income to a foundation. It changed to 30%, but the very wealthy were getting in on that action back in 2006 and before to create endowment foundations where they could give away half of their income tax-free to their own foundation, have it invest tax-free, and live tax-free forever. Pretty radical. Question of public foundation over private. Doesn't matter. You're all starting with a private foundation. You can't get to be a public one until it becomes very large. You can't start a public foundation without starting with a private one first. And I need to soften my tone, and I apologize because I realized I was being a little too sharp, because I've been living again with this information for years. So, yeah, they all start as a private foundation first. Question. Endowment foundation, I'm assuming we would still have to reflect this information in our Australian taxes. No, the answer is no. It's a tax-free entity in the United States. You don't own it. You benefit from it. If you're making income as a director of the foundation, then that income is being reflected in your taxes wherever you are. But the foundation itself is a tax-free entity that lives in Nevada, in the United States, which is under the jurisdiction of the IRS. So I'm not getting very many U.S. questions. I'm getting basically all international questions, which are extremely advanced to begin with. So write me some emails. And I'll answer better. I don't know why the U.S. citizens are not asking questions. I mean, this is an introduction, folks. You're asking me advanced international questions from specific countries that require more advanced answers. Now, if that stimulates you to look into the equivalent of an endowment foundation in your country, please do that. And the price point has been lowered to an extremely reasonable point where I doubt you will be able to form a foundation in whatever country you are in a more reasonable manner than we can form one for you in Nevada. Now, in the subject of taxes, I am not a CPA and I'm not authorized to give any detailed coaching on taxes. I'm here to offer the benefits of these structures and introduce you to my CPA, who can become your CPA when you want detailed answers. So that's my disclaimer. I'm an asset protection consultant. I've been a technology consultant all of my life. I've been in professional services since 1976, folks. I have a white beard. I earned it. Endowment foundations are very cool. Every country has their own equivalent. Check it out in Australia and New Zealand or wherever you are. Next question. And I'm sorry that I'm speaking into my laptop and not my microphone, but I'll check the microphone or get another headset between now and the next seminar. Wow. I think we're complete with questions. Thank you for the feedback that I'm loud and clear. Headsets are always preferable than speaking into a laptop where you don't know what background noise might be there. Okay, in summary, endowment foundations are a tax-free investment tool, and you give away 5% a year. Claude has a question. If I understand, in Nevada Corp and IBC and Foundation, if we are the directors, and this is what we declare as revenues in our country, well, only if you have income as a director, you declare it wherever your CPA advises you to declare it, is the answer, Claude. It's a CPA question. If you have a Nevada Corp and you're making money in the U.S., you're declaring it in the U.S. But but the CPA answers for your specific question, and I cannot answer a CPA question internationally. Ask your own CPA would be my next answer. Everybody ought to have one. Now, we have an asset protection CPA available who can engage with you if you become a Bridgeway client. Again, there are no foundation questions from U.S. citizens here. This very, very interesting evening. And I thank you, international folks, very much, because you are stretching my reality and my understanding. Okay, question. 30% of our income protected from tax. That's not the whole reason for setting up an endowment foundation. That's just first benefit. The reason for having an endowment foundation is to have a tax-free investment tool and to support your own charities and nonprofit projects. So it's a benefit to set up a foundation with 30% of your taxable income, and the reasons are numerous. Next question, Paul. What other monies are needed besides the 12.5 to get a foundation going? The answer to that is whatever money you're going to fund the foundation with. The price point is simply the legal creation of the Nevada Endowment Foundation. You can get a bank account with that. You've got to put money in the bank account, and that's a whole package that's created at the time the foundation is created. You have to fund your accounts, folks. All these entities have bank accounts associated with them that are created at the time the entity is created, so it's usable. Funding the bank accounts is a separate subject entirely. This is business. Mike said he missed most of this, so go ahead and ask me your question, but it's going to be recorded, Mike, so you can go back and listen to the recording. That's my best answer. David and his staff do an excellent, timely job of recording these. So, Annalies, A-N-N-A-L-I-E-S, which I cannot pronounce. It sounds French to me. So we can build wealth and multiply the funds tax-free. But if we decide to pay ourselves as a director, then what will we need to pay tax? Oh, when? Yeah, of course you need to pay tax if you're paid. The two different subjects. The foundation is a wealth creation investment tool. If it pays you a fee as a director, that's ordinary income, which I would suggest you pay into your Nevada corporation so you can write down expenses, but of course it's taxable. Two different subjects. Income is income. Stuff inside of a foundation is not taxable. Any money paid to you is always taxable. If you stay with these seminars, you will start to develop an understanding of legal structures, benefits, and use of them, and that all of these structures can pay you, and they can pay you a director fee or a salary or in some other ways, business expenses. And the details of what's taxable is between you and the CPA, and you're learning to use that legal entity. So Mike says thanks. Is there a renewal fee? Absolutely, on everything, always. And don't ask me what it is for a foundation because I haven't gotten it written down in front of me. The annual renewal fee for a corporation at the moment is about $500, so it's going to be that or more. all these things are renewed every 12 months. They're always renewed with any entity anywhere, legally, in any country, and usually annually. Do we need to name it? Of course you need to name it. My first one is Global Harmony Foundation. I have about 5. They're private, and I'm not publicly discussing them at this time. They're legally registered in Nevada by the name you give us. Same with corporations, same with offshore corporations. I can check Nevada names for you. So give me a list of names, I'll tell you if they're taken. If you really get into this, I can show you where online to check them yourself, but it's part of my service because we're talking about custom planning for each individual person. And can we use a CPA? Yes. I will give you an introduction and let him comment about your international situation. But yes, I'll introduce you to the CPA. Claude, okay. Again, I believe Claude is an international French-speaking person. It's not clear to me in your plans for we pay all our taxes in the USA. Not saying you need to, that's up to your CPA. Corporation, a C corporation pays its own taxes. So it's a legal person. So it pays its own taxes. If it pays you a salary, it's a matter of whether it's paying a salary to you personally, which would then be in the U.S., or whether it's paying a salary to you some other way, which would be between you and the CPA. Again, very advanced questions from international people, which I appreciate. But, you know, send me an email. I can give a specific question to the CPA and see if he'll answer it for you. You're living in another country, you have income and money in another country, you're paying tax in another country. If you create a Nevada entity, you will therefore be paying tax from that entity in the U.S. Claude said he'd send me an email. Thank you. They're really, really great questions, and they're somewhat advanced questions. And I suggest you also ask your local CPA where you live. You create a Nevada entity, you're paying U.S. tax on the Nevada entity. An endowment foundation is not paying any tax at all. In fact, it's a tax-free investment entity, and you're saving tax by creating it, and it's created by and funded by 30% of your taxable income in the U.S. Well, David, I think we have wrapped it up. There are no USA questions and haven't been. It's all international questions, which is advanced by definition and subject to email or private Skype conversation. But thanks for letting me introduce the subject of endowment foundations, because I've been excited about these things for 3 years now. I have a number in the works, and they're major funding tools. If the return on an investment is 50%, and you roll the investment, and then the compounded return over a period of time is 100% or more, and that investment is in an endowment foundation, then all of the private programs that David Lockwood has introduced to the passive peeps could be done in an endowment foundation, tax-free, moving forward, compounding, moving forward, tax-free. Yeah. Look at the implication of this stuff, folks. Expand your horizon a bit, which is what I'm here to provide the legal possibilities. Tax-free, tax-free, tax-free. An investment tool. It does nothing but invest tax-free, make money tax-free, and give away 5% a year to other tax-free entities, one of which can be yours. We're talking about a perpetual tax-free situation legally. It is rather amazing once you get it. Now you understand why I am excited about endowment foundations. And someone said, thanks, it's complex and a bit tricky to understand. Yes, and I've been living with this stuff for years. And I have very, very big plans. And they all involve endowment foundations and multiplying wealth tax-free moving forward, and compounding your own wealth tax-free moving forward. Now you understand why I'm excited. It's not about the money, it's about what you can do in humanitarian projects and charity work with money that multiplies tax-free. Thank you for your time tonight. If there are no other questions, I'm complete for now.
Okay, everybody. Thanks so much, Gary. That was really exciting. And now, if you just let's sum it up my way, okay? Now, here's the bottom line. If you want to sit with us every Wednesday night, sit around the poker table with Gary, myself, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, some of the Rockefellers and Kennedys, you got to learn this stuff. Oh man, I told you. Okay, I can't help myself. I'm just delirious here. I'm just feeling awful right now. I shouldn't have taken my pill. Anyway, okay. So anyway, that's really great news. Gary's going to be swamped with emails, I hope, and we're going to have to teach. We're going to have to teach the U.S. citizens to ask some more questions here, and that. But listen, you have to understand what he just put down there: tax-free legal. Okay, and what he just said about all the programs we do. Okay, to be putting that under a foundation, tax-free legal. Okay, and I'm going to tell you right now. There's more coming. I'm getting started you in all this one right now, but I guarantee you there's more coming. Okay? Yeah, the red pill or the blue pill. Yeah, I couldn't decide, so I took them both. Yeah, I know. There's no need for the blue pill right now. Don't have the energy. Anyway, yeah, no wonder you're confused. Yeah, so anyways, great webinar. Thank you so much, Gary. We are going to have this up and edited, and I have to talk to John whether or not we're putting this on YouTube, which I think we are, or we're just going to keep it in our back office. But I don't see any reason why we couldn't put this in there. We haven't put a YouTube video up for a while, and I think a lot of the other people that don't belong to the peeps are wondering where I've disappeared to. I think they'll welcome any kind of video coming up there, but a lot of these people are going to start to see the light, and they're going to see that a lot of program owners, they get their programs out there. They all say, we're the next billion-dollar company, we're this and that, we're going to make everybody millionaires, we're going to do that. But nobody, and I mean it, nobody tells you how to protect your money. Nobody tells you what the possibilities are with your money and how to make your money last. So I like it that we're the first in that area to include not only making passive income, but helping you to manage your money in asset protection. And thanks to Gary and Bridgeway, we're very blessed. Very blessed. Okay, that being said, now, John and I will give it another shot come Saturday with Talk Fusion. See if we can get a handle on that, and so we can use Talk Fusion on Saturday. Just keep an eye in the Passive Peep group, okay? And one last thing about the Skype rooms, please keep it down. I'm seeing there's a lot of people getting very aggressive in there, and I'm telling you right now that you will be removed. Okay, there's no need to be aggressive. Okay, we're not in charge of these programs. We have no rights in these programs, and whoever has these programs, okay, it's up to them what they decide to do. Your decision is whether or not you want to participate. Simple. Okay, so don't put stress in our rooms because it's just there for information. Okay, be kind to everybody, be loving to everybody, and do something nice every day and make at least one person smile. Yes, Claude, it's going to be at 10 a.m. On Saturday morning. If there's anybody complaining, please let me know your complaints about the time, and I might be able to make it 10 after 10. Just joking, come on. Anyway, we can possibly just tweak it here and there so everybody's happy. Okay? So, given that note, I'm going to get some much needed rest after I edit the video. And we'll see everybody Saturday at 10 a.m. Okay, come to think of it, while I got you all on here, I might have to make an adjustment on that time. Okay, so look in the room for sure. I will give you a proper time tomorrow. Okay, in the Passive Peeps room. Okay, because I know I've got something with my son and my wife on that day. So anyway, so I will make an announcement tomorrow. And on that note, everybody, and Sharon saying how to get started if you have little money. That's another phone call, Sharon. Just joking. That's Gary's line. Anyways, give Gary an email, and Gary will be pleased to help you. Okay? Great. Okay, everyone. I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to give you that much awaited for, because we haven't seen it for a while, that video, Mr. Pink Suit itself. Okay. Good night, everybody.